So yeah, here we are in Monaco. Very, very difficult track to negotiate, especially on this game with the handling model and the physics that are involved. A lot of curbs that can spin you, a lot of traction zones that can spin you, a lot of walls you can hit. There's no real safe place in Monaco. We will see incidents probably in all three sectors. Certainly TGP1 was very eventful, and we did see some retirements and crashes in that race as well, but that is part of the challenge of Monaco. And Dan says that he did not connect from PSN, but just the game, but I believe he has now gone from both, so apologies for that. Hopefully he'll be with us soon, as Blair Grills is on an outlap, or so not an outlap, on his first flying lap for the Alpine team. Now Blair Grills, a very impressive podium in that last race at Portugal. Perhaps would have only been fourth had it not been for Magic Coupe Cannon's late drive-through penalty in that race. I think there's going to be a lot to digest. We will give you updates as soon as you possibly can. Be sure to follow TGP Series on Twitter at TGP Series, and check out TGP's website as well, of course, which TGP is well known for having. So we see Blair Grills perhaps a bit deep on the entry to the Nouvelle Chicane, but on his run now to back, there's a bump on the inside of the corner. You want to be careful, you don't take too much of that, otherwise you'll be thrown into the outside wall. Red Bull Kim sets our first lap of the session. It's a 1:15.5. Now Blair Grills round Raskas, don't be too tight, otherwise you'll clip the wall, and he's going to complete the lap. DRS wide open on this very short pit straight. It's the only DRS zone on the circuit, and Blair Grills crosses the line. 1:13.6. It's provisionally P2, although only 4 cars have set lap times, and it's Magic Coupe Cannon provisionally on pole position, although we still have the majority of the session left to run. We've already lost Kaya in the Haas, so already then Monaco claims its first victim, and it's Anossia Kaya in the Haas. Let's whip up the track map now to make things a bit easier, because of course I am commentating and directing the race as well, so I do have to multitask here, so the map certainly helps. Who else have we got on laps? Theo Hickman does a 1:11.8 and goes on to provisional pole, but again, very, very early. Parsa is in the pits, so Parsa not completing a lap then, so he's had an incident on that lap. Sayer Sports going into Portier now. Careful not to run too wide. It's very difficult to hit the apex, and I think he has had an incident on that lap, or he's clipped the inside wall. But Sayer Sports, I don't think he's going to be setting the world alight with this lap time. Into the Nouvelle Chicane he goes. Can't really tell much from that angle. He goes very, very deep, and he's invalidated the lap anyway. So Sayer Sports will not be posting a lap time when he crosses the line next, if indeed he does. I think he will just park it in the pits. Alex Zaffro now for AlphaTauri. Not quite sure what happened to him in that last race. I believe he actually got lapped, but not quite sure how that came about. I don't know whether it was a game glitch or whether he did indeed actually just get lapped after having a very rough start to the race. And he's hit the outside wall at Massenet. No grip there. He tried to turn in, but the car wasn't having it, and I think he probably would have picked up wing damage from that. He goes very wide at Mirabeau. I think he's going to be struggling with understeer, I should say. He may as well finish the lap, because you might as well get some kind of banker lap in here. I have to say I myself crashed in qualifying rather oddly, but we won't go into that. The car appeared totally fine on my screen, but then decided that it was broken. And it was at this very corner here, and he's spun. He's clipped the back of his car against the wall. It was the front for me yesterday, apparently. And my car conked out, but Alex Zaffro, despite having a harder hit, continues on in his AlphaTauri. I'm also driving for AlphaTauri, so yeah, AlphaTauri having an eventful week at that Nouvelle Chicane. But Alex Zaffro, yeah, he might as well pit now. This isn't going to be a banker lap of any real value, but he's actually going to continue. He may have enough fuel to do another lap. He's going to cross the line. He's going to do a 1:18.0, which actually puts him ahead of Stereogram, so it's actually not the slowest lap time that has been registered. But AlphaTauri and Alex Zaffro seem to be going for another lap. But I could have sworn he would have got wing damage after running wide, and now he's definitely got wing damage. But we've got Magic Coupe Cannon on an outlap, but he's only at Portier. Is there anyone further along? We've got Blair Grills currently in P4. Baza is at Mirabeau. Daniel P. Wheelnut, is he on a lap? See if I can get any more telemetry for you, as My co-commentator, four-time PGP1 champion Dan the Man, and several-time Monaco winner, has returned. Good evening,
Yep,
Daniel. Can you
hello.
hear me?
I I can, yeah. I've had my usual 8 p.m. internet mess up, but it's still not too brilliant, I have to say. But hopefully, it should be okay.
Well,
Fingers crossed. Anyway, how's this qualifying session going?
currently it is Theo Hickman on provisional pole with Jacko on the front row, but still a lot left to happen in the session. We've still got 10.5 minutes left. We've got Daniel P. Wilnut currently on a lap. I believe he's gone for a second flying lap on these tyres. He takes a lot of curb at the Mirabeau back corner, and he's letting the Alpine through. And actually, let's go on board with the Alpine, see how he negotiates the final part of this lap into the Nouvelle Chicane. He's very deep and he's invalidated the lap, so Blair Grills will either have to go for another lap on these tyres or head straight into the pits. The thing is, you actually get a lot of fuel during the qualifying session, but the deployment doesn't really last 2 full laps, as Dan has disconnected once again, and Dom Smith for Aston Martin jumps up into P3. Dom Smith saying that he didn't really enjoy Monaco on previous Formula 1 games, but he's actually got into a groove around here, and he finds it a lot easier now that he is using a wheel compared to when he was on a controller in previous games. His Magic Poop Cannon takes provisional pole with a 1:11.8. Theo Hickman is also on a lap, coming out of the tunnel into the Nouvelle Chicane. There's going to be a crashed Ferrari, but it's a ghost, so no matter there, he's gone too deep, and as a result cuts the chicane. So Theo Hickman will have to either cool off, charge up the battery and go again on this set of tyres as he passes his Williams teammate, Stereogram, but Stereogram does have no front wing, so it's understandable. I think more avoiding his teammate as opposed to just trying to get track position. So both Williams cars back into the pits. Dom has actually managed to lose his wing, either going for another flying lap or he's actually managed to lose it on his in-lap. Not quite sure which. I'm going to assume he went for 2 laps on that set of tyres, but either way, he goes back into the pits, as does Sir Tom Penguin, who's currently running in the top 5. Blair Grills goes for another lap, or is going for another lap. It's valid this time, and it's a 1:11.9, which puts him up into P4. So Blair Grills looking to have a pretty good night around here if he can keep this kind of pace up in qualifying, because qualifying at Monaco, they say in most races qualifying is half the battle. In Monaco, qualifying tends to be about 80% of the battle due to the difficulty of overtaking at this circuit. He's gone purple in sector 1. He's pushing again on this set of tyres, but like, either that's a glitch with the track map, which we've seen many times before, or he's going for another lap, but he has no deployment. He's going to run out of deployment before he hits the end of this straight, and it's not a particularly long straight either. So I think Blair Grills is indeed backing off. He does not have fuel. There's 7 minutes left, so just get it back to the garage and go again. Who is on a lap? Do we have Magic Poop Cannon on a lap? We do not. Theo Hickman is still in the pits. Jacko now. Jacko's apparently up on his time. He's got DRS open. Take the shortest route to the line. Actually, he drifts wide to the middle, but he sets a 1:11.4. And Jacko, well, he's been the star of the season so far. I mean, we've only done 3 races, but he has been the star of those 3 races, finishing on the podium twice and 4th place in the other. So Jacko, I don't think he would have been perhaps pictured as a championship contender, and actually it's the first time that Jacko has ever headed a TGP championship ever in either TGP2 or 1, depending on whatever league he was in. He's never actually headed the field, but after 3 races he finds himself leading the championship, and currently, with only around 6.5 minutes to go, he's on provisional pole for Monaco, and that is a statement right there, because Monaco, as I said, the overtaking is incredibly difficult to achieve. So Jacko looking very good right now, but it's worth pointing out Theo Hickman did invalidate his latest run, and I think Magic Poop Cannon did as well. So they still have more in the tank, they have more to give. We've got a few drivers on outlaps. Is there anyone who's on flyer? Mr. John. tends to hold back in qualifying. I think he sacrifices track position at the start so that he can avoid the melee in front, or any potential melee at the front. I don't think he's pushing on this lap. No, he is not. Chris Johnson is in P19. That's actually something that has had escaped me. And Chris Johnson only goes P8 with that one. Now he's going to find it very difficult to repeat his heroics from Portimao, going from 8th to 1st, because again, Monaco, track position is key more than any other circuit on the calendar. We've got Serton Penguin on a lap with an allegedly purple middle sector, but he's gone a bit wide on the second part of that swimming pool section. He may have picked up some very minor wing damage. He negotiates at the Anthony Nose corner. DRS wide open. He's run out of deployment, but Serton Penguin, I think it was an improvement in time, but not in position. But that could be crucial come the end of the session, because he does have quick drivers such as Daniel P. Wheelnut, Chris Johnson, and Wet Lemons behind him, who could very well find themselves being factors later on. And actually, speaking of quick drivers, Parsa is currently P16. He's not set a lap, and Stereogram is retired from the session at to back. I think one can assume he's probably turned in a bit too early and it spat him out into the outside wall. So that will curtail Stereogram's qualifying session. He will start no higher than P14. Never really got a proper lap in there. His fast lap's a 1:19. His Angel versus Death in the Haas has also retired. Possibly in the pits. I don't see any white Haas dot on the track, so not quite sure what happened there, but Angel versus Death has retired. Parsa, I think he's carried way too much speed into the Raskas. His exit is just not there. His DRS is open. He opened it a little bit late. He's got deployment until the end, and Parsa goes onto pole position. Provisional pole. 400s down. Down? I meant up.
Hello, Roy.
Hello, Daniel.
I have no idea how long this is going to work for, but I've just reset everything, so hopefully it will work, but I'm not optimistic.
Well, I think optimism may be all we have at this point. Hopefully it stays together. Mr. John is on an outlap as Theo Hickman retakes pole by 0.2 of a second. Where is Magic Poop Cannon? Magic Poop Cannon is on a lap. We'll try to go through a full lap with somebody. Perhaps Jacko. Jacko is on an outlap at the moment, so I think we'll check out Magic Poop Cannon off board. He's got an Alfa Romeo in front. I believe that'll be Baza on his outlap. There is a chance for him to get out the way. Monaco is very difficult to actually clear space for somebody, but he does it as well as he can. And Magic Poop Cannon hopefully hasn't lost any time through Portier as a result of that. No DRS down the longest flat-out section of the track due to safety concerns. There is quite the bump as you exit the tunnel. They've done several attempts of trying to flatten out that bump, but after there was a pretty nasty crash for Sergio Perez back in 2011, as Magic Poop Cannon has a big slide at the second part of the swimming pool. But that's why. I think some debris from other cars has just spawned on the racetrack for me. I don't think that came off the Mercedes of Magic Poop Cannon, who crosses the line and does not improve his time. And Jacko is negotiating the swimming pool section.
Well, that was looking like a decent lap for Poop Cannon until
that
final sector. Really, the final sector was a bit shaky in general, but Alex Afro just went fourth as well.
Jacko now into
so Alex Afro's
Sandoval.
in a good position.
Take as much curb as you can. Probably could have got away with taking a little bit more than that, but it looks like a fairly clean turn 1. Turn 2 doesn't really exist in modern day Formula 1 cars. Now turn 3, it's all about balancing speed and precision and compromise, because you want to open up turn 4, Casino Square, a bit of a squirrely exit, and take as much of the inside line as you possibly can. The car actually lifts up off the track there. There's quite the bump. Now the Lowe's hairpin, be as precise as you possibly can. This part is very, very technical. It's probably the slowest section you'll ever find on a Formula 1 circuit. Now through the tunnel, flat out through here. Into the light we go, downhill braking zone, into the Nouvelle chicane. Precision again is key around here. You want to get a good exit through here now to back, take as much speed as you possibly can without hitting either wall, either on the inside or the outside. Now it should be flat out through the swimming pool chicane. He's had a bit of a wobble, he's hit a bit of curb there, but he's managed to keep it out the wall, and I spoke too soon. And Jacko is out the session. He has crashed his Alfa Romeo before the Rascas. Now, I believe he will ghost for the other drivers, but will provide nothing more than a distraction. They're not going to hit him, so championship leader Jacko is out of the session, but he is running in P3 as things stand, or sitting in P3 as things stand, I should say. So let's see.
Just wondering, Roy, if you've heard anything about the Pip Gannon just hit the wall.
Someone else has hit the wall. Is Alex Zaffro.
Alex Zaffro. Pip Gannon's qualifying's over.
And for me, Jacko's wheels are still sitting on the entry to Rascas. Blair Grills, apparently with the purple first sector, as Dom Smith goes on to provisional pole position with a 1:11.0. 2/10 clear of Theo Hickman. And Theo Hickman and officially Parsa and Jacko and Alex Zaffro are all done for this session. So I think the only drivers who can deny Dom at this point are the two Alpines of Blair Grills and Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson will be the first one to cross the line. He's coming out the exit of Rascas now. DRS is wide open for Chris Johnson. Where can he put his Alpine? It's not going to be pole. It's going to be P8. Blair Grills. I missed that because the.
I don't think he went pole, but he did go up.
No, it says P1
actually. I think
the
his
steering
thing says
wheel.
P1. Yeah.
Blair Grills.
He did go P1. Wow.
Blair Grills takes pole after taking a podium, which I think perhaps some drivers may not have, or some viewers may not have expected in Portugal. He's now stuck it on pole. So Blair Grills for Alpine on pole position, followed by Dom and Theo Hickman in the top three. But look at this, Parsa somehow has picked up a 5-place grid penalty, so he'll start 9th. So Jacko starts 4th, Alex Zaffro 6th, Magic Poop Cannon 7th. Chris Johnson also picks up a 5-place penalty, so he'll actually start outside the top 10. Sir Tom Penguin was the 9th quickest qualifier, followed by Daniel P. Wheelnut. So they're the drivers who'll have to start their race on used tyres. So Chris Johnson is going to start P13, but on used tyres. But then again, Monaco, it's not really the most critical element of this race. Also, just
apparently,
are you watching the stream? Are you watching the stream?
No, I'm in the lobby. I'm in the lobby.
I'm actually hearing my own voice echo through my headset. I don't quite know why that is. Hopefully, that's not the case for the viewers.
But I am told that John has told me that Alex was on for pole until he had the crash on that lap.
Yeah, it looked like he was pushing very, very hard. It was an off-board shot that I got. We just saw his AlphaTauri careering towards the outside barrier. But it's Blair Grills on pole, but Dom tends to get good starts. So let's see how this pans out. We're away in Monaco, and is it a clean start for Dom? It looks like it is. Blair Grills gets a lot of wheel spin, and it's Dom Smith making up for missing out on pole position, goes straight into the lead. So it's advantage Dom straight away, as Dom Smith now leads this field from Blair Grills and Theo Hickman in third, with Jacko in P4. And, well, not much else to say. It's all single file now as we head down into Mirabeau for the first time. So downhill braking zone. Let's have a look through the field. Is there any movers? We see Daniel P. Wilner having a quick look at Wet Lemons. We saw in the TGP1 race yesterday there was a lot of bunching up at the hairpin. There's a concertina effect at this track, and you have to be careful. Will anyone throw it up the inside? I think someone in a Williams gave it a go. Stereogram thought about it, but there just isn't enough room down there. So very single file. Almost as you were, except crucially, it's Dom Smith who leads this race.
It is, and then Dom actually nearly hit the wall at the hairpin. He was so late on the brakes, he hit the wall. Oh, Alex Zafra almost having to go on Jacko as well for fourth place there. But yeah, Dom got the good start, didn't he? Blair Grylls had a terrible start. So much wheel spin. Hickman nearly got him as well. But in the end, it's the 1, 2, 3, Dom, Blair Grylls, Hickman. Blair Grylls actually closing in a bit more on Dom at the moment, but those three beginning to pull away from Jacko. He's actually just pitted. He must have had some damage.
Does he have damage? Let's see. We're on board with the Alfa Romeo as he enters the pits. Is he changing that wing? I don't think he is. Jacko's not changing it. That is a strategic call. He's risking a lot around Monaco, but in TGP1 we didn't actually see a single virtual safety car or safety car, much to my disappointment as I started on mediums. But we saw no such incidents. So maybe Jacko is hoping he can basically just undercut the field, but he's on the hard compound tyre, and he's stuck behind Stereogram.
Yeah, and look, he's immediately stuck behind Stereogram, so he's obviously pissed early, as you say, took a gamble, but look at this, he's going to have to get past Stereogram. Kaya, Indecisive, are all ahead of him, so I don't know, maybe it might work, but I'm not optimistic at the moment.
No, he's going to have to rely on getting through them immediately, and that's difficult enough to do at the likes of Portimao, but never mind Monaco. That's a whole different challenge. I think he's trying to see how late he can brake, but he's on the hard tyres as well, so he's limited in terms of his traction and his braking ability. Those softs on the likes of Stereogram and Kaya, they're still fresh, and Stereogram was all out of shape through the swimming pool section, so Jacko is, I think, just losing time. So this strategy call...
he's really losing so much time.
I think he wants the win. As we see an incident, that's actually one car out the way. Kaya has lost his wing at the final corner, so Jacko has cleared one car, not necessarily through a traditional overtake, but will Jacko get a run now up into Massenet? He's thinking about it. It's a very difficult section of track to overtake at. Could the camera please change? That'd be very helpful. And he's still stuck behind the Williams through Massenet, but he gets a better line, better exit. Can he dive up the inside the mirror? But I think he's way too far back. We have a yellow flag somewhere else.
What happened to Sir Tom Penguin? That was strange. He was just coming off the behind, like reversing it from Portier there, and he's got no front wing. Not sure what happened, but strange instance, and he's going to have to pit.
Yeah, Sir Tom Penguin picking up a 3-second penalty. I don't think his car is physically really capable of taking the normal line. And Angel versus Death is going to have to be very careful here to negotiate his way past the AlphaTauri. He almost takes to the limited runoff around this track to get past him. Such is his desperation. We have an incident at the chicane. I think we have a multiple car incident at the chicane. We see Daniel P. Wheelnut, I think, may have been involved in that. He's now behind Jacko, so Jacko's actually overtaken a few cars. Indecisive Mackie, I believe, yeah, he's got damage. He missed the corner at the swimming pool. He's missed the corner at the second part as well. And Wet Lemons has overtaken him. I don't think Wet Lemons is pitted. Maybe I missed that, but we have an AlphaTauri in the pits, who of course is Sir Tom Penguin.
And there's Jacko. There's Jacko, he's got him. Jacko's got Stereogram, and now there's 10 seconds of fresh, clean air for Jacko ahead, but he's probably lost that time just trying to get past these guys.
Yeah, the next car up the road is Red Bull Kim. We'll be hoping Red Bull Kim pits rather soon. What tyres is Red Bull Kim? Red Bull Kim is on the medium tyres, so he may be staying out as late as lap 12, 13, that kind of range. So Jacko may find himself encountering traffic, but he should have a few laps of clean air. But he is
Hickman's
on the hard
pitting.
tyres. Theo Hickman pits.
Interesting, because he was right on the back of Blair Grylls and Dom, so he's obviously decided to now come in and pit, see if he can maybe jump them in the pit stops. But again, just like with Jacko, it's all going to really depend on what happens with the traffic. Yeah, he's not changing front wing or anything, so it's an actual pit stop. And Dom is very low on overtake. Just having a look here, it's been running a lot of overtake early on in this race. So has Blair Grylls as well, though, to be fair. But where's Hickman going to come out? Is he going to come out? That's not bad at all, That's not bad at all for Hickman, is it?
I think he must have seen that Jacko had a huge gap. He may have been told that Jacko had a huge gap and that he'd probably find himself in clean air too if he were to pit. So Theo may be about to undercut the top two, maybe at least Blair Grylls. Dom needs to pit now. I know it's incredibly early, but again, as we said, track position around Monaco is key, and as is strategy. So track position and strategy at Monaco, the two most important elements. And well, Dan, you're the expert. What would you do in this situation?
Well, I think I would probably pit now if I was Dom on Blue Girls. I think
But
he'd
he's
have to
not.
sort of
Dom's
respond,
not.
but they're carrying on. Of course, if we do get a safety car, it will be very helpful for them. But Hickman is closing in. He's flying purple sector 2, and he's already nearly on the back of Mr. John. Mr. John's going quite slow. He might be able to go through Mr. John here. He will. So he's just easily gained a place there as Mr. John pits.
Mr. John with damage there then, so Theo Hickman probably is in the net lead of the race unless we get a safety car. And speaking of safety cars, do we have an incident? We had Daniel P. Wheelnut missing the corner at... Oh, no, he's taken too much speed.
He's in the wall.
Now, we've got cars dispersed around the circuit, so we should see... I would have assumed we'd see some kind of safety car for that. But
well, surely, if you're Dom or Blue Girls right now, you're praying to see a safety car come out because there's a car in the wall at the back. But it's not happening again. Like I seen yesterday in TGP1, safety cars are becoming a lot more, a lot less frequent. There we go, through to back. Is the car still there? Yes, it is. And we're not getting a safety car.
no, the race director seemingly happy to let recovery vehicles and Formula 1 cars coexist on the circuit. So... yeah, no virtual safety car or safety car, despite crashing at an incredibly narrow and fast part of the street circuit. But yeah, Blair Grills is not letting Dom go. Blair Grills, of course, does have a penalty. Dom does not. Theo Hickman is currently running in P8. He's without a penalty. He's behind Chris Johnson. He's not behind Chris Johnson anymore. Actually, no, he still is. Chris Johnson moved up a place because Magic Poop Cannon, if I can speak, exits the pits. Bit of a slow exit. I think he was slow putting the limiter off there, and Magic Poop Cannon will rejoin ahead of the Aston Martin, who is a lap down. So he's actually ahead of officially Parsa in the McLaren.
Yeah, well, Dom on that last lap done a 1:15.5. Hickman done a 1:13.4. So it is looking very good for Hickman right now, unless Chris Johnson might hold him up for a very long time. But I mean, he's just gained 2 seconds on that last lap alone.
Yeah, so in other words, Dom has lost the lead of this race unless Theo gets stuck behind Chris Johnson. Theo can afford to hang back a little bit here. Chris Johnson does have a 3-second penalty, but that's not going to affect Theo at this point in time, because Chris has yet to pit after starting outside the top 10. Alex Zaffro speeds in the pit lane. Alex Zaffro, who's running in the top 5, he's sped in the pit lane, so it's been a messy start for the AlphaTauri team. It was a messy race in Portimao, and it looks to be continuing here. That is the trend for AlphaTauri tonight, as DRS is open on the very short straight. He's harvesting his energy, is Theo. He's trying to go around the outside of Saint-Devote. That's a brave move, but he's not going to be given the room. So Chris Johnson holds the position. So this is great news for Dom and Blair Grills. If Chris Johnson can just hold Theo up and is running a slower pace than Dom out front, then this is brilliant news for the Alfa Romeo, or the Aston Martin driver, as Theo Hickman tries to have a look up the inside as his Williams teammate Stereogram crashes
in the wall at the back.
I would have a look at it, but it doesn't actually let you spectate the ghost. So,
well, that last lap was a 1:15.4, I think, for Dom, and a 1:14.8 for Theo. So he was still quicker, but I don't think on this lap, I'm pretty sure Dom might end up being quicker because he's been a lot closer to Chris Johnson this time round, hasn't he? And he's been getting held up a lot more.
And Chris Johnson is going defensive. So Chris Johnson has been compromising his own times as well, as he tries to keep track position, hoping for some kind of safety car, virtual safety car. Theo Hickman is all over the back of the Alpine, clearly has so much more pace. His lap time here would be crucial. Does he have DRS? He's got DRS wide open. I can't actually see where he is because of the camera angle. But it
was a 1:16.4. 1:16.4 for Hickman. That was a 1:15.8 for Dom. So Dom now going quicker than Hickman, but has Hickman gained enough time early on to possibly take the lead once he pits anyway? But look at him having to be early on the brakes round here. He needs to get this move done.
He's got this move done and think he's about to. They're side by side through an incredibly tight part of the track. Chris Johnson, he knew when to give up. It was smart racing from Chris there. He's let him go. He knew the chase was up. So Theo Hickman now moves into P4 on the road, and he should be able to claw some time back in the second half of this lap. So I think he will still have the net lead, as we have Sayer Sports retiring from the
Oh!
session at the swimming pool chicane.
Happened right in front of Dom. Happened right in front of Dom, that. And the yellow flags are out waving, but again, still no safety car or anything. And Dom now pits. Dom pits, Blair Girls continues.
So, well, I think Dom is, wouldn't say happy to relinquish the net lead of the race, but he's done it anyway, because Theo surely has got this easily done. Yeah, Dom is still under pit lane speed, easily through. Look at this.
Yeah.
Not even close. Chris Johnson and Alex Zaffro actually move ahead of Dom, and I think, did Alex Zaffro pit?
Alex Zaffro has pitted. Yeah.
So Dom has lost many places. Well, not many, but he's lost.
And Poop Cannon's ahead as well. Poop Cannon's just got out ahead as well. Well, Poop Cannon got a penalty for speeding in the pit lane, and so did Alex Zaffro as well. So he's still ahead of them, obviously, with time penalties added. But if he wants to catch up to Theo, I mean, it's absolutely disastrous.
Yeah, I don't think Dom, he hasn't got the pace to catch up to Theo, given that he's been jumped by all of these drivers. Chris Johnson is still yet to pit, though. That is correct, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, so it is Theo from Alex Zaffro, from Magic Poop Cannon, from Dom. And bear in mind, Blair Grills was behind Dom. So Blair Grills could actually rejoin behind all of these drivers. We've got an Aston Martin. The Aston Martin is Dom. I apologize, I thought I was spectating him. So yeah, Blair Grills here is probably going to rejoin 7th. It's going to be very tight. He has to pit now, and indeed he does. So let's have a look at the Alpine driver as he leaves his pit box. Baza takes the lead of the race on track, but of course has yet to pit. Theo Hickman, in fact, is already
it's going to be really close, this, you know. Oh, Alex Zaffro really went into the back of Blair Grills. He was leaving the pit lane. Where's Blair Grills going to filter out? Oh, he taps the back of Zaffro.
Now, the angle I had, I don't have access to all the angles, of course, but that'll be an interesting one to watch. There was racing on the track, but they did kind of cut across the pit lane exit. There was nowhere that Blair Grills can go. It's a one-lane pit exit. Blair Grills potentially, do you think he could have been ahead of Dom if it weren't for that?
Probably, yeah, because it slowed him right down, didn't it? I'm just trying to see if he's got damage from that Blair Grills, because he definitely tapped the back, and he's already beginning to fall away a little bit, it seems, from Dom after that. So I wonder if he did get damage. I'm going to go for Chris Johnson now. He needs to get it done. He goes a bit wide, doesn't get a penalty there. We might have got a warning for it, but at least he's ahead. And Chris Johnson has just slowed down for his teammates to let Blair Grills go straight through.
So team tactics being deployed at Alpine. Chris Johnson was more than willing to hold up the other drivers, but is seemingly on good terms with his teammate and was not willing to hold him up. So he does care about that constructors title, does Chris Johnson, as he finally pits. Chris Johnson clearly banking on some kind of safety car, virtual safety car, but at the end of the day, he was just losing more and more time and track position anyway, because even when he pitted, he was already 7th. He's changing his wing as well for good measure, so I don't know if he has picked up damage on that lap or if he was carrying it all along. We have a yellow flag in sector 1, but it's already gone green, so we may have some debris on the circuit. Has someone picked up damage? I'm looking at Dom. His wing looks intact, but then again, it's much harder to spot wing damage on this game, I find. You can't really tell from the naked eye if something is actually wrong. So there seems to only be 3 stages of visual damage and about 5 stages of actual damage.
Baza hit the wall, and Hickman nearly had thoughts of having a go there on the run to back, but you know, Hickman's just got to not get too carried away here. There's no need for him to go for the mad move, because Baza still needs the pit, and he's got 4.5 seconds in his pocket, plus the fact Zaffro and Poop can have penalties anyway. So Dom is really his biggest challenger. So, you know, he doesn't need to go for any silly dive bombs here, Hickman. Baza will pit eventually.
Yeah, he's not using DRS down the pit straight. So what Theo needs to do now, he's got track position. He has a gap. The 2 drivers behind have penalties. He needs to just stay behind this Alfa Romeo. The Alfa Romeo has to pit in the next few laps anyway. So charge the battery. Don't go for any moves. But and
Blair Grills has pitted again. So Blair Grills must have had damage. Yeah, he's changed his front wing. So disaster for Blair Grills. And I tell you what, at this rate, it might be actually quite close here between Blair Grills and Chris Johnson as they come out the pit lane now. the two Alpines might go side by side here, and in fact, Chris Johnson will be ahead.
Chris Johnson is ahead. They're on the same set of tyres, and there's only, I believe, one lap in the difference. So, Blair Grills, well, that wasn't his fault, I have to say. There's
No, it
nothing you can
wasn't.
do. Nothing you can do. And I'm not saying it was the fault of the other drivers either, because
Yeah.
they were side by side. It looked like just incredibly unfortunate timing. The stewards, if it gets reported, may be looking at it, but incident noted by the commentators. Whether the stewards will
Yeah.
note it is another factor. But yeah, Blair Grills in ninth, and Red Bull Kim is running in 10th, but I believe he's yet to pit. He's still on the mediums actually, so yeah, he's still yet to pit, but he's running in P10. He's not had any incidents. He's got Angel versus Death all over the back of him. And we've an incident further ahead, do we?
Baza again Pickman's getting so close to Baza when Baza makes an error. I mean, it's just unbelievable because Baza's obviously got 14 laps on those tyres now, and Hickman gets so close sometimes, gets right up to the back of him, looks like he's going to run into him. And look again how close he is. It's just all about keeping your head here and not running into the back of the other car. Alex Safro's still 2 seconds behind. And look, you see how early Hickman is on the brakes there because he knows it's not worth it. But I don't know, is Baza just going to stay out until what, like lap 19?
Well, there'll be no point staying until lap
got
19.
Nothing to lose.
But yeah, like I was doing this strategy yesterday, and I think I stayed out until lap 16. I think 15, 16, because I knew at that point there probably wasn't be any kind of safety cars. Alex Zaffro nearly repeats his mistake from qualifying as Baza finally pits, much to the relief of Theo Hickman. He's finally released into some clean air. He's still got a 1.3 second advantage. It actually was 1.2, I believe, when Baza pitted. So he's already stretching that lead. So hopefully he's been recharging his battery when he was behind the Alfa Romeo.
And Parsons come in again. Parsons come into pit lane again, so as he picked up some damage, which has allowed Jacko to go through to 6th place. Parsons in, and indeed he is changing the front wing yet. So we've got Don in 4th place then. But the two guys ahead of him are penalties, so he's probably going to be approached up to 2nd. Or I bet he's going to be so annoyed that Hickman gained so much time on him with that perfect pit stop opportunity yesterday. I think, didn't Jack Hickman say yesterday that he likes to be effectively Hickman's engineer for the TGP2 races? And well, it looks like he's been an absolute masterclass today, and it's going to lead him to victory.
Yeah, strategical brilliance from the Williams team. External help technically is allowed. TGP1 drivers also have a stream, so we could easily also have someone in our ears being able to give us this information. So if you have the ability to do it, then go for it. But yeah, Theo Hickman, it's worth pointing out, of course, he is also an incredibly quick driver. Like, he has shown throughout this race that he is, well, it looks like he is clearly the quickest driver out there. So yeah, Dom had the good quali lap, perhaps lacking a bit more in race pace, although he looks good for P2 as long as he can stay within 3 seconds of Alex Zaffro. I don't think he currently is, though. He's already outside 3 seconds. But still looking good for Dom for a podium.
Well, it's going to be Hickman's second win of the season, of course, after he won in Australia, and I assume he managed to recover well, didn't he, in Portimao, so presumably he's going to be in the championship lead, would you say? Jacko is in 6th place, so yeah, I think this will give the championship lead to Hickman. I'm pretty certain.
I'm going to be honest, doing maths whilst trying to commentate and direct the race, I'm going to avoid the topic, but yeah, he's certainly put himself in a very, very good position to challenge for this championship. We knew coming into the season that he was going to be one of the challengers, and consistency, I think, was the bigger issue. We only saw 2 races from him last season. I believe he crashed in one of them and won the other convincingly, so we thought maybe it could be a tale of inconsistency, like we've perhaps seen from other drivers in TGP2 in the past and present. But I think he's looking more consistent than perhaps we would have expected. Of course, he is the youngest ever winner in TGP history. He did win his race in Baku last season at the age of 12. So, people forget just how young he is. So, plenty of experience to be gained. I believe it'd be yellow flag out there. There's a Ferrari that's
Red Bull Kim.
crashed. Has he made contact with the Haas? The Haas may have been a bit
not too
slow
sure.
coming out of the corner. But Red Bull Kim, he's pitted for soft. He's got no wing, so Red Bull Kim will have to pit. Kaya appears to be a lap down in P15, so I think Red Bull Kim will hang on to the final point. Sertan Penguin may be promoted to P13.
Jacko gets ahead of Bazet, although Bazet does have a penalty, Jacko doesn't, so I don't know if Jacko just let him go through there. But he's 19 seconds behind Dom, so it's going to have to take some sort of drive to catch up with the next couple of laps. But I suppose if we get a late safety car again, it might help, but we do only have 2 laps to go, 2 full laps to go in this race.
We've got some debris on the track there, not quite sure who that was from. Sertan Penguin moved himself up into P13, so he will double the amount of points he was set to receive a few laps ago. I don't think it was him that picked up the damage. He nearly hit the wall on the exit of the Raskas after carrying too much speed in there. It's the 3rd time now I've seen an AlphaTauri hit or nearly hit that wall. So seems to be struggling with the brakes through there.
Speaking of AlphaTauri, is Alex Zafro, well, I was about to say Poopcan was beginning to catch up to Zafro, but he pulled away a little bit more there because these guys, 2nd and 3rd place, are racing for position because they both got 5-second penalties. But of course, it's Dom who just has to stay cool and he'll get the 2nd place across the line as long as Alex Zafro doesn't pull away too much. But I doubt he's going to make 5 seconds up with just a few laps to go.
Yeah, the pace between 2nd, 3rd and 4th seems to be ebbing and flowing. I think Dom is back within 3 seconds now of Alex Zafro. Let's have a quick look at the penalty situation across the field. If I can find the detail, it always takes me a few attempts. There we go. So it's 5-second penalties for Alex Zafro and Magic Poop Cannon. Now, what is the reasoning for that? Is that speeding in the pit lane?
Speeding. Yeah.
Of course, because there was no safety car or virtual safety car, even though there probably should have been. But I believe Sertan Penguins had an incident at the Raskas, so AlphaTauri once again in the wars at that corner. And I believe he'll actually lose the position to Red Bull Kim. You'd presume anyway. Red Bull Kim negotiating the exit of the Raskas. And Sertan Penguin is only leaving his pit box now. I think Red Bull Kim will easily have him here. And he does indeed. So Red Bull Kim moves back up into P13. Angel vs Death also pitted, but he is clear enough of the Ferrari driver as he's being lapped by one of the McLarens. The McLaren's fairly anonymous in this race, P8 and P9. Wet Lemon's kind of having a more quiet race week, but still in the top 10, still continuing, and will still pick up a handful of points as a result. Theo Hickman's gap now 4.2 seconds.
It's been a flawless drive, hasn't it, really, by Hickman? He's just absolutely dominated. Although, having said that, he got 2 warnings on the first 5 laps of the race. So since lap 5, effectively since his pit stop, he's had to be so careful with where he's been driving. And of course, he nearly ran into the back of Bazza a couple of times when Bazza was struggling on his mediums. But and he nearly lost the car there as well just before Portier. But as long as he doesn't go and drop it in this final couple of sectors, he is going to win this race. And it looks like Dom will get second.
Yeah. The drivers behind, well, I say the drivers behind Dom just needs to keep it clean and hope Magic Poop Cannon keeps clean as well. Don't want to run into the back of him. But, well, what a drive from Theo Hickman as he has a big wobble. It looked like it wasn't just me then. almost threw it away. But he rounds the final corner. In real life, of course, the Marshal, as you see the Alpine spin, Marshal will be giving him the big thumbs up. Theo Hickman wins Monaco in TGP2 for the first time, his first attempt and his first victory. Alex Zafro will cross the line in P2, but he will not keep that position. He will be demoted to P3. Still stands on the podium. Dom Smith, after starting on the front row and taking the lead in the early stages of the race, he was undercut by Theo and Alex and Magic Poop Cannon, has to be said, but avoided the penalties and will come home to take P2. Alex Zafro on the podium, Magic Poop Cannon in P4. Perhaps would have looked for a bit better, but still it's a good result. He does outscore Jacko, but only by 2 points. So perhaps not the kind of challenge he was looking for. Baza completes a solid race for Alfa Romeo, P5 and P6, both Alfa Romeos in the top 6. Chris Johnson comes on P7, so a win and a P7 for Chris Johnson. It's still not really the kind of form he was looking for, but then again, he did start outside the top 10, so there's only so much you can really ask around a circuit such as Monaco. Parsa comes home in P8 and then is demoted to P9 because of a penalty. It's actually Wet Lemons, his teammate, who comes home in P8, so it's P8 and P9 for McLaren. Everyone else apparently was a lap down. I saw one lap as one of the margins there, so a race of attrition there. Chris Johnson, driver of the day. I'll be honest, I think the algorithm is heavily swayed towards the driver that makes the most overtakes.
Yeah.
So it was a solid race from Chris, recovering from P13 to P7, don't get me wrong, but I think the driver of the day is the one on the top step of the podium spraying the champagne.
Yep, and it was fantastic, genius pit stop moment as well, and Hickman managed to control the race from there and didn't pick up a penalty, and he absolutely deserves the win. So assuming that Pucan doesn't get given the win for Portugal, 2 second places for Dom tonight as well. Could have been the win in Portimao if it wasn't for that turn 8 spin.
I think Dom
so
maybe
he'll be up there in the championship as well.
Yeah, I think Dom's cementing a championship challenge here. You know, he's got the consistency, as does Jacko. So Dom and Jacko could prove real threats here. But then again, Theo Hickman with the outright pace and perhaps more consistency than we expected. I think it's been a very impressive run in the first 4 races. So Theo wins from Dom, from Alex. Magic Poop Cannon comes home in P4 with Jacko for Alfa Romeo coming home in 5th with his teammate just behind in P6. Chris Johnson P7, Wet Lemons P8, officially Parsa in P9 with Blair Grills coming home in 10th. Mr. John misses out on the top 10 again and comes home in P11. Angel vs Death in P12 picking up 3 points for Haas. Red Bull Kim comes home in P13 picking up 2 points. And do you know who finished in the final points position? So I missed it. Was it Showtime Penguin?
So no, I didn't quite see that. It might have been. Yeah, because he had the crash, didn't he? But I think there was a couple of drivers who were a couple of laps behind still.
Yeah, I think that screen, I think it goes away a bit quicker than it did on the last game, or I started too late. But either way, I quite enjoyed that. It was
well, we had two very eventful races.
Yeah, some
eventful internet connections as well.
Both on and off the track. Mike Noon didn't really fancy giving Monaco a go after the trials and tribulations he had at Portimao. But it was an eventful evening. Do check the TGP Series website and Twitter page for further updates on tonight's results, and hopefully you will tune in next week where we'll be racing at, I believe, Baku and the Paul Ricard circuit, Bernie's backyard, of course.
Yeah.
2 very different circuits, one surrounded by tight walls, but with more speed than Monaco, so it's like Monaco but with overtaking. And then the wide open spaces that we have at Paul Ricard, track limits will play a key role in that race. So hopefully you will join us then. And for now, it is goodbye, good night, and we'll see you soon.